Welcome to Thought for the Day for Friday the 1st of May. Our reading comes from Luke chapter 14, verses 12 to 24. Then Jesus said to his host, "When you give a luncheon or dinner, do not invite your friends, your brothers and sisters, your relatives, or your rich neighbours. If you do, they may invite you back, and so you will be repaid. But when you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous." When one of those at the table with him heard this, he said to Jesus, "Blessed is the one who will eat at the feast in the kingdom of God." Jesus replied, "A certain man was preparing a great banquet and invited many guests. At the time of the banquet, he sent his servant to tell those who had been invited, 'Come, for everything is now ready.' But they all alike began to make excuses. The first said, 'I've just bought a field and I must go and see it. Please excuse me.' Another said, 'I have just bought 5 yoke of oxen and I'm on my way to try them out. Please excuse me.' Still another said, 'I just got married, so I can't come.' The servant came back and reported this to his master. Then the owner of the house became angry and ordered his servant, 'Go out quickly into the streets and alleys of the town and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind and the lame.' 'Sir,' the servant said, 'what you ordered has been done, but there is still room.' Then the master told his servant, 'Go out into the roads and country lanes and compel them to come in, so that my house will be full. I tell you, not one of those who were invited will get a taste of my banquet.'" It was the Sabbath, and Jesus had been invited to eat at the home of a prominent Pharisee, knowing that all the other guests were watching him closely. He had already healed the man with dropsy. He was an obvious plant to see if Jesus would heal him on the Sabbath, which of course he did, challenging those there that it was exactly what they would do if a child or a costly animal needed help on the Sabbath. He went on to challenge the guests who were picking the best seats at the dinner. Now he challenges the host. Do his words challenge us too? Who are the people that we invite for a meal? Are they those who are just like us? The people we are comfortable with? Will we make friends and invite for lunch the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind? Indeed, do any of our friends fit these categories? So, how is our obedience to what Jesus tells us to do? Jesus points out in verse 14 that although these people can't repay you by inviting you to a meal with them, you would be repaid at the resurrection of the righteous. One of the guests, perhaps still smarting from Jesus' earlier rebukes, spots a link here with Isaiah and says, "Blessed is the one who will eat at the feast in the kingdom of God." He was thinking of the bit that we know as Isaiah 25, verse 6. On this mountain, the Lord Almighty will prepare a feast of rich foods for all peoples, a banquet of aged wine, the best of meats and the finest of wines. Did he notice that this feast is for all people? Not just the well-behaved Jews. Isaiah goes on this mountain he will destroy the shroud that enfolds all peoples, the sheet that covers all nations. He will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away the tears from all faces. All this could not happen until Jesus had won the victory over death. But these Pharisees, who thought they knew everything worth knowing about God, had no idea that God himself, enmeshed in flesh, was having lunch with them. And so Jesus tells them this parable of the man who'd prepared a great banquet. The excuses the guests come up with for not attending the banquet are not only lame, they're a complete insult to the banquet giver, and he becomes justifiably angry, telling his servant to bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind and the lame. When this is done and there is still more room, the servant has to go out again and find any unsavoury types he can in the roads or country lanes and compel them to come in. Now, Jesus has won the victory over death. He has opened the way for all to come to the banquet. No one is beyond the love of Jesus. Are my eyes wide open to those around me that Jesus wants me to reach out to with his love? How much richer would my life be if I looked at others through Jesus' eyes of love? Let's go through today with eyes wide open to see the possibilities of loving others with the love of Jesus. Have a blessed day, blessing others.